Hello, dear friends, and join me as we move through the third part of whispering our way through this wonderful book, Postsecret by Frank Warren. A little bit of context before we start. Frank Warren is an artist who, in 2004, sent out thousands of postcards asking people to anonymously return them with a secret that they had never told anyone before, and they could choose to present that secret in whatever way they wished. So people could choose creative methods of basically sharing their deepest, darkest secrets. And this book is from the exhibit, which displayed all of them. So without much further ado, let's jump in to recap where we were last time. Where we saw somebody in Texas when the exhibition went to Texas saying, "Dear Frank, after I created my postcard, I didn't want to be the person with that secret any longer. I ripped up my postcard and I decided to start making changes in my life." I suppose there's an educational element to this book, which is to show that if you really pour a secret into this, like creating your own way of getting this secret off your chest, it can be a hugely cathartic and important separation technique to be able to start working on life without that secret. Let's see more. I broke up with my boyfriend who used to call me darling when we made love because I fell in love with a man who calls me slut when he makes love to me. There we go, so that individual was looking for something a little bit more direct. I wish my phone would ring more often. Feelings of loneliness are so powerful. On the back, I hate billboards so much I've started to vandalize them. I hated my childhood. Oh dear. This individual obviously has a lot of miscommit content, but there's something quite Banksy-esque, I suppose, in vandalizing billboards. I feel trapped in a relationship with the greatest girl ever because I'm still in love with a bitch. Oh, I should have read that the other way around, should I? Because I'm still in love with a bitch, I feel trapped in a relationship with the greatest girl ever. Is that somebody feeling that's interesting. I can't quite make out what that is saying. Is that somebody saying that the greatest girl ever is? Oh wait, no, I do get it. This person feels trapped in a relationship with the person who's great, the greatest person they've ever met. They're trapped in it because they still have love with a person that they don't like. That person still has hold over them. Ouch. I steal old library cards obsessively. I mean, as much as theft is not a positive thing, I think that's quite a cute hobby. I'm sure the library just replace a library card inside when they need to if it's gone, but there is something quite wonderful in having a history of people taking out books in different years, knowing the life of that book. I love the band to hide the fact that no one loves me. Looks like a picture of Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance. Somebody's placing their love and affection into a band, and yes, using that to, I suppose, offset the love they don't feel elsewhere, which is sad. Every day I type you little text messages. I tell you I love you, I miss you, have a wonderful day, please be careful, but I don't send them. I know I'm not supposed to, but I hope that somehow you know. I wonder who they want to send them to. Would they be in trouble for sending those messages to that person? Would they cause complications elsewhere? Oh dear, difficult position to be in. I'm unable to share my secret, but know this, the most expensive drink you'll ever taste is free alcohol. And I'm guessing they mean by the repercussions or the impact of indulging in too much alcohol because it was free. I wish I was still innocent. It's an interesting secret. Innocent from what? to put yourself under when you don't feel what you think you're supposed to feel. And the good times will come. I joined because I was patriotic, but since they succeeded in convincing me my life is worthless, I'm just hoping I get shot. Oh no. I suppose that's the act of breaking down somebody's sense of individuality to be part of a greater whole, having an adverse effect on the psychology of somebody. Not nice. I miss the good old days. Some Army 8 image here, and then over here, I never liked your poetry. Oh dear. It's very difficult, isn't it, when somebody near and dear to you is writes creatively and you don't like it, and you don't want to ever upset that person. I am bulimic feminist. That person obviously feels, do they feel shame? And that these two elements are at odds with each other, and perhaps don't feel that they can get support for whatever reason. I hope they do. I didn't tell people I was running a marathon for fear they'd be nauseated by visions of my fat ass bouncing down the street. That is very funny, but also very sad that they feel that way. And by signing up to run a marathon, you are absolutely working on yourself in a very positive way. When I eat, I feel like a failure. It's a very complex relationship. Food and people, I find sometimes, a lot of the time, I have very complex relationships with food. That cycle of eating because you feel like a failure and feeling like a failure because you eat. It's not a good position to be in. In French, this says, I hate every part of my body except my hands. It's difficult. I'm sure lots of people have things about themselves that they hate and one thing that they like. It's hard to accept yourself sometimes for who you are. I only pick up my dog's turds when people are watching. Oh, naughty, naughty. Social desirability bias there, only doing things when you believe you're being perceived to be doing the things that people want you to be doing. I still pray for you every night, and I probably always will. Interesting secret. I wonder why they're praying for them. Are they in trouble? Are they in a difficult position? The medication is not enough to make me forget what he did to me. If I see him again, I will kill him to save the others. There is a lot in that secret that we couldn't even begin to unpack, could we? Something very serious here. I truly think that Judgment Day is near, but people take it as a joke. Interesting format of delivering that message. I mean, there are a lot of things to be anxious about in the world, the wider world, and where we're going, but yes, it's up to us to change that, I guess. Shoplift. This person has just written shoplift. It looks like they've written it in a way that looks like it's burning in the flames of hell, so maybe they are passing judgment on themselves for doing so. Sometimes I romanticize my roots, more ethnic, more blue-collar, to be more interesting at chic cocktail parties. I'm a good liar. I think we're all guilty of that, aren't we? Of finding ways of curating our own existence and our past to be more appealing to other people. I still haven't told my father that I have the same disease that killed my mother. Oh no. For fear of wounding him, I suppose. It's difficult, but those scenarios, it's giving people time to come to terms with things, isn't it? It's so hard. This is a interestingly presented word map. I love my husband because he's the only man I've been with who hasn't hurt my body with violence. Oh dear. Well, I'm very happy that you found somebody who respects you and loves you for who you are and doesn't seek to take advantage or assert their own feelings of whatever on you in the most horrible of ways. But it's just terrible that people have to go through that. I'm with the first person I've ever been able to truly trust. He is the only person I have ever cheated on. Oh no. We are very complex beings. We're threads of stories and strands and experience, and sometimes we work against ourselves because we don't believe we deserve things, or we feel like we have certain things we have to do or should be doing. My head's going to explode if I try to unpack all of this. I wish I was white. A very sad secret again for somebody to go against their core identity. I'm afraid to answer the telephone. I think a lot of people do. I do. I mean, how many people in this day and age don't answer a phone number that they see ringing that they don't know? I always have the philosophy of, if it's important and I need to know, they'll leave a voicemail. If they don't leave a voicemail, I never needed to answer the phone in the first place. I fear I have an undiagnosed mental illness. I think a lot of people may do. Diagnosis is the beginning of the pathway to recovery, so seek out medical support wherever you can. I feel ugly because I'm half black, half white. Very, very sad. This individual obviously feels torn in terms of what or how they identify based on the way in which they've been told to think about themselves. It's terrible. I wanted the plane to crash so I wouldn't have to miss him any more. That's also very sad. That people haven't found an outlet for missing somebody. It's just very hard to let go of people, isn't it? And I wish I could just walk away. And here, I need to get out of this city. We can all feel very trapped, can't we, by our circumstances. It's very difficult sometimes to feel like we can escape. In Hebrew, this says, "I'm afraid." It looks that's a cemetery, a series of crosses, I guess. They're afraid of death, perhaps. I almost decided not to get out once I knew I'd hit the river. Wow, some person was faced with a life or death scenario and almost went with the death option. That's very difficult. I hope they found help to unpack why they felt that way. I'm convinced that my scoliosis is a physical manifestation of how twisted I feel inside. Well, for one, I'm sure that isn't the case, but it is an interesting study on how your physiology, your external physical behaviour can influence your inside mental behaviour. It's quite an interesting method of performance and of acting known as imaginary centres by Michael Chekhov, where he creates... You create an imaginary centre to your being, so it could be, say, a pink halo that sits above your head and lets off a gentle hum. And by imagining that, it kind of changes the way you walk and talk and think and feel. You know, perhaps if you were looking to play somebody who was very ill and very at the mercy of their thoughts, you might imagine you have a mossy, messy, heavy chain wrapped around your legs and your ankles and your neck, and it's dragging your whole body and your energy down, and this allows somebody to channel that physiology into a way of thinking internally. It's quite interesting if you fancy exploring that topic for yourself. He tossed me aside, forget about me. Still love him and it hurts. It is painful. I only ever played sports to feel like my father loved me. It's horrible when we feel that love is transactional with the people closest to us. She isn't yours. My mother took a secret to her grave. Oh dear. You hear about that a lot at the moment, don't you, with people taking ancestry, DNA, and kind of, DNA kits for birthdays, and then finding out that actually their family isn't who they thought they were. Sometimes I think my fiancé isn't the one. Oh dear. Most people believe that I should hate him most for hurting me, but I don't. I hate him most for making me think I deserved it. I hope he burns in hell. I'm more addicted to going to juvie than to the drugs that put me there. Interesting, somebody feels addicted to the punishment, to incarceration. I wonder why. I'm having a hard time coming to terms with my very sad phrasing, but I don't think anyone's mediocre. It's just a case of you haven't found what you're exceptional at. You just haven't had the opportunity to do so. We do live our lives very narrowly, I think. Sometimes you're at the mercy of what's local to you and what's available to you to pursue. But I think that's one of the things like certain social media forums. I love Reddit because of its ability to introduce you to hobbies and crafts that you may not be familiar with, and getting you into new pursuits and finding new opportunities to explore your capabilities. I am a Southern Baptist pastor's wife. No one knows that I do not believe in God. I wonder how that would go down in their community. I was 7 years old the first time I attempted suicide. It's incredibly sad, isn't it? It's shocking when you hear the statistics of children feeling that way and attempting such a thing. And just goes to show why it's so important to have talking therapies and support structures around people to be able to talk. I write the same thing on all my thank you notes, and I worry that my relatives will compare them and find out. I feel that way sometimes too. If you're going to write a generic letter to people, and then if they'll somehow all get together and share notes and be like, hang on a minute, this person is just going to, this person doesn't care at all, they're just copying and pasting their sincerity. I was probably the only one who knew he was an addict. I never said anything. He died 6 months ago today. That's sad. But also not necessarily your burden to bear, right? It's very difficult. Somebody can only really seek help for themselves if they want to help themselves. I still suck my thumb. I'm 18. Just the need for comfort, I suppose. I've been told sometimes when I sleep I suck my thumb still, so there's obviously something there that desires to be the child. Once I was asked by a doctor if I was hearing voices. The voice inside my head shouted, "Tell him no." Oh dear, I hope that person found the help they needed. When I listen to my patients, all I can think about is how I drag that razor across my skin too, and how much I miss it. Oh dear, yes, but that shows that they're in a position to help. They're doing something very constructive with their prior experience and they're helping others, but so hard. I once planned to kill my mother. Wow. That is one hell of a secret to be sharing. This jackass at my school died. I'm kind of happy that I don't have to see him anymore. We can be so cruel, can't we, when it comes to how we've been treated and harmed by other people and what we wish on others. I have to shave my toes. I'm a woman. Hey, everybody's body is their body. We just work with what we got. I started using speed to get his attention and affection. All I got was addicted. Oh dear, a bad path to go down. My mum killed my dad long before he killed himself. Well, there is a lot to unpack there. A history of how you view your parents and who's right, who's wrong. Is anyone wrong? Is anyone right? I love to pee when I'm swimming. We found them. We found them off as this secret right here. I always hear horror stories of pools being having that dye put into it so that if anyone pees, it turns it purple, so everybody knows where it comes from. Could you imagine seeing that? I lied. I want her to save me. It's an interesting phrasing. Save you from what? Are you shutting her out? All the time we spent in love, I didn't really know you loved me until you danced with me in public, even though you didn't know how. Even if I never get that chance again, it was worth the awkward fumbling to know what you said is true. That's so sweet. I love how dance is just that expression of love. It can be that expression of love. Just that intimate moment of two people moving to music in sync. I think I'm in love, and I don't know if I want to be. I'm kind of scared. Don't be scared. That's your own doubt talking. Give in to love. It's amazing. I'm still in love with her. I hope she reads this and recognises my handwriting. This is also my last try. Good luck, my friend. I hope she did read it and recognise your handwriting, if that's the only way you felt you could broadcast that. Dear Frank, I've made 6 postcards, all with secrets that I was afraid to tell the one person I tell everything to, my boyfriend. This morning I plan to mail them. But instead I left them on the pillow next to his head while he was sleeping. 10 minutes ago he arrived at my office and asked me to marry him. I said yes, from Canada. Oh, that's beautiful. And again, just as a wonderful expression of how letting your secrets go and like showing yourself fully and truly to others is often far more beneficial than it is negative, and we work against ourselves so often to find reasons not to be open and transparent with others, and usually they're of our own design. I'm falling for you, please don't mess it up. I think we've already said that to ourselves often, haven't we? I apologise for the lighting. I hope you can see this properly. I know it's not coming through fantastically on camera, but it seems that we're in the afternoon sun here. I faked sorrow at my dad's funeral, and I, in fact, was selfishly happy I didn't have to wipe his butt anymore. Oh dear, I'm guessing that's somebody who was their carer. It's tough, isn't it? That film, A Monster Calls, with Liam Neeson as the monster. It's a very moving film about letting go of somebody because of the burden it places on you, and in terms of responsibility, care and mourning. It's a complex issue, but it explores it beautifully. I hate him for what he did to me, but more than that, I hate myself for what I did to her. Oh dear, somebody is passing forward pain. I'm sorry we were young. I think about and regret it every day. What did that person do? Sharon, innocent, freckle-faced, red-haired, good. Sharon, I was a vicious, vengeful, compulsive brute to you at school. 30 years on now, I'm very sorry. I hope Shannon knows that and has been able to let that go. Somebody's own insecurity or way of behaving can have such a lasting impact and effect on others. I'm known as the funny one, but I don't crack jokes to make people smile. It's because I fear feeling their sadness. Interesting. So you always keep people at arm's length by being the funny one. I can completely resonate with that in my past. Making people laugh kind of controls the narrative. It makes the social exchange transactional. I get a very obvious sign that you are comfortable or happy by making you laugh, and I don't have to worry about any subtext or potential truth. It's actually very unfulfilling in the long term. During college, I worked at a restaurant where we took turns running the cash register. I stole probably about $5,000 over those 4 years. Most of that money went towards the year I spent backpacking around Europe. I had a great time. Wow, somebody's secret here is they feel no regrets for shoplifting. I only smoke a Pall Mall cigarette so I can remember you 40 times a day. That's an unfortunate, unhealthy way of chasing memory. The nights I sleep the best, I dream about being shot. That's sad, but it could mean something different than purely being shot. I know there is hope for you. That's nice, and I hope you don't keep it a secret. Sounds like something somebody needs to hear. I was only trying to hurt myself as much as I hurt him. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry too. That's something that, has been internalized and needed to be shared. Lines of communication. My secret hobby is collecting porno pics. I mean, in this day and age, it doesn't feel like many people would necessarily even keep that a secret. My husband doesn't know that I know he has porn on our computer, or that I masturbate to it. There you go. If you're more open with your partner, you can find pursuits you can both share. I'm afraid of women who wear else is black. I've dated black men. I have friends of all ethnic backgrounds, and I am a minority too, but I'm still a racist. Interesting. Why? Is that the people around you? Thank you. And on the back it's, I burn my father's porn when he's not home. I'd rather get skin cancer than be pale. That's not a very healthy relationship with looking a particular way, is it? I try to be content, but the truth is life would be so much easier if I were pretty. Well, you're pretty talented, I'm going to say that. And again, different strokes for different folks. Just maybe you think you don't look pretty to a certain group of people, you know, who aren't going to find you pretty, but there are other people who will find you pretty. You've just got to find those people. I stole your duck and took him to San Francisco. That's where my duck went. The night he died, he tried to call me. When I saw it was him, I didn't answer. And that obviously creates a lot of guilt and pain. I wish I would have left the mask on. Why? So many whys, so many questions. When I go shopping, I pretend I can buy a boyfriend in the underwear section. Well, that would be convenient, wouldn't it? I like it when animals attack trainers. I think they deserve it. Well, it's not nice to wish it ill on anybody, is it? But if an animal is stripped of its liberties and life, then yes. I sent myself flowers on Valentine's Day so people at work would think I was dating someone. That's some ingenuity there. I knew that I kept this coupon for 12 years. Now you can have it. I'm trying to resolve my past. P.S. Thank you. Yeah, a good example of somebody letting go of their past. Here, passing on a coupon. I need to change. Well, by writing that down, I hope they found the positive first steps to doing so. I'm getting a tattoo about love to cover a scar that reminds me of just how much I used to hate myself. Again, a very positive step there. I still wonder what life would be like if I just had the courage to tell her. We haven't spoken in 5 years and I'm happily married. Interesting. Tell who? Maybe another woman, another person, a family member. Interesting. 1979, 4th grade lunch period, confronted by bullies, hastily broke into a Wonder Woman routine, hoping to frighten the big goons off, but considering I was a scrawny runt of a boy, it didn't go down too well. Well, I hope you've carried on that fierceness into your everyday adult life. I gave my vegetarian sister a meal with beef. Ooh, that's not good. That's a betrayal of disrespect of somebody's wishes. It's not a nice thing to do. I change my hair so often to make up for the fact that I won't be able to change who I am. It's a thought trap, isn't it? That you think that the only way you can change is physical appearance as a substitute for changing your internal makeup. It's not true, it's a trap. I intentionally make myself nearly a half an hour late to work every morning so I can ride the bus with the hot bus driver in hopes that we may make eye contact in the rearview mirror and perhaps start a conversation. I think up hundreds of opening lines as I let buses pass me by, but when he opens the door and smiles brightly and looks at me with his beautiful sparkling blue eyes, I find myself tongue-twisted. I end up burying my head inside a book. Maybe he'll read this someday. Folks, that sounds like the beginning of a wonderful movie. They used to make movies like that all the time back in the 90s, didn't they? This is from the cover. I trashed my parents' house to look like I had a party while they were out of town, so my mum would think I had friends. That's such an extreme measure to take. I wonder how they reacted. I hope there is a heaven, and I hope you're there. I can, I don't subscribe to a faith, but I can totally understand the need to appreciate there being an afterlife, just to have comfort in the fact that those we love are in a place that they feel loved and happy. Psst, here's a secret. Your last model thought will be, why did I take so many days, just like today, for granted? Good rules for living there, folks. I know that sending in a stupid postcard to share a secret with a bunch of strangers won't do a damn thing to change the daily loneliness and unhappiness in my life, and I sent this anyway. Well, maybe something deep down did feel that it would do something. And this envelope says I bought a bunch of postcard stamps to use for Postsecret, but I used them to write to my friends instead. That's nice, finding a reason to connect. Postsecret's earned several awards, including Blog of the Year and 4 Webbies for Best Net Art. His website, www.postsecret.com, receives over 5 million visitors every month. 2 Postsecret art exhibits continue to travel internationally every month. Well, if you can find it, if it's still running today, this was in 2004, then I would hardly recommend going. It's been a fascinating journey through people's secrets. I hope you've enjoyed it too. Thank you for joining me for this whispered read-through of Postsecret by Frank Warren.